Welcome to LNG. We're here with mayoral candidate Pete Giannelli, and we're going to be doing this in two parts. We'll try to do part one today, and then we'll come. Actually, we're doing both today. Okay. Let's get into the economic plan. I know everyone, foremost concerned about their jobs and stuff. Economy is still flatline. I think we're getting into all that now in the next half an hour. But tell me your plan as far as the Energize Albuquerque plan. I know it's a $1.5 billion plan. You're talking about the expansion with the airport and all that. Let's break it down for the viewers, that way they understand it a little better.
Be more than happy to. Sure. Before I get into my specific Energize Albuquerque plan, we need to remember where we were 4 years ago. 4 years ago, Albuquerque was on the top of all the good lists. We were able to attract jobs to the Albuquerque area. Our unemployment rate was a pretty low at the time, and Albuquerque was growing. And during the last 4 years now, we've had a situation of a 0% job growth rate. I was born and raised in the city. I loved my hometown. And for the first time that I can remember, throughout growing up, we're losing more people. More people are leaving the state of New Mexico, more people leaving Albuquerque than ever before. We're having a brain drain that's also going on. Young people are leaving the state. There's no jobs to keep them here. And what we've had now for the last 4 years under the leadership of this mayor is a 0% job growth rate. And the thing is, though, is that the other surrounding communities are doing pretty good. When you look at Texas, when you look at Colorado, when you look at Arizona, they all have positive job growth rates.
Within our state, though, we're not doing so well. You have to admit that Santa Fe is,
Santa Fe is doing a lot better than Albuquerque. In fact, even Las Cruces is doing better than Albuquerque.
It's because there's a tourism factor, I think.
There's a tourism factor, but the fact is that Albuquerque has remained stagnant. We're not going anywhere. And I really believe that's because there's been a lack of leadership. We've had an incumbent now that has blamed Santa Fe for a lot of our economic problems. You also have him blaming Washington and talking about our reliance on the federal government. And this is a particular mayor that was advocating changes in the corporate tax structures, and he was also advocating a right-to-work law, which are nothing more than quick fixes to a very complicated problem. And what happened was I started reaching out to various members of the community. I talked to realtors, I talked to people in financing, the banking institutions, people that are involved with government finance. And we sat down and brainstormed for a period of 3 months, and what we came up with was what I call Energize Albuquerque. And to me, Energize Albuquerque is a bold, aggressive leadership approach to turning our economy around. And what Energize Albuquerque represents is a $1.5 billion investment. The most important aspect of the program is the job creation. Energize Albuquerque will create anywhere between 15,000 upwards to 20,000 jobs in the Albuquerque area.
In the period of,
over the next 4 to 8 years.
Okay.
And what I'm hoping is that Albuquerque, the goal is to make Albuquerque a destination city. A destination city. And the ultimate outcome with Energize Albuquerque is the creation of all these jobs. And what I am envisioning is jobs with a future, high-tech jobs. Not minimum wage jobs. I'm talking about jobs with a future. Jobs where it will require skilled training. It will provide a decent wage to individuals that can go ahead and settle here and raise their families. What we're looking at are jobs with a real future. And that's what Energize Albuquerque is all about. And what it is, it's a $1.5 billion investment in Albuquerque. And it will not require the raising of any taxes. That was the key element of this. We don't want to raise our taxes. We want to keep our tax base low, keep it at the level it is. But how do we do that? How do we create jobs? And what we look at are the growth industries in Albuquerque as well as New Mexico. Now, the first step of energizing Albuquerque is the creation of an executive office position within City Hall. And this position will be involved with economic development. And it will be a chief administrative officer position directly under the mayor. And what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to the various organizations within City Hall, the various departments, and bring them in under one umbrella. And what we're looking at is bringing in the planning department that deals with zoning and enforcement, and also deals with issuing of permits. bringing in the film industry division that we have at City Hall. We're also going to be looking at the capital improvement programs and the industrial revenue bonds, and completely reshape and restructure City Hall when it comes to economic development, and get serious about attracting new industry to the Albuquerque area.
Well, how do we do that? So far, we haven't been able to, right? Because when you look at our tax rate, corporations always, especially multinational like Intel and some of these Ethicon, larger corporations always complain about our tax rate because they were taxed on the payroll, they were taxed on the property. So how do I know it's changed a little bit now? We're a single sales. Talk a little bit about that.
We do it with leadership.
Okay.
Leadership that has faith in our community, that understands our community, and wants to set a new direction, a new tone. We have had absolutely no leadership over the last 3.5 years from this administration. They've been more concerned about trying to stabilize issues.
He did stabilize it though, right? Because we were at 8.2% as far as the unemployment, and it came down to...
frankly, it's been more as a matter of luck on his part. I don't think it's because he's done anything proactive at all. He has not offered any sort of economic development plan. He talks about Albuquerque, the plan. That's a $33 million investment.
Roughly about 30 million or so, yeah.
The investment I'm talking about is $1.5 million. So after we create this position, we're going to invest in ourselves. We're going to identify major infrastructure projects that we can go after, whether it be bridges, whether it be roads, whether it be our sewer and water system, and we'll work closely in conjunction with the Water Utility Authority.
Let's talk about the airport, because I know you brought up a $300 million expansion there. You were criticized for that from even some Democrats I listen and say, well, the existing structure there is good enough to sustain whatever it is that we need to do. Why do we need to expand? And you were just trying to create a new, I think, airline industry going back and forth to Mexico and things of that. I was hearing things like that. Tell us what that expansion exactly, are you talking about an annex to the airport? Is it a part of the terminal, or how's that?
For us to break out of what we're dealing with, the slump, we're going to have to start thinking big. We're going to have to start thinking about how can we identify major projects that are going to get our economy moving. And what we have identified are growth industries. Some of the biggest growth industries include the healthcare industry, but also transportation. New Mexico and Albuquerque is perfectly situated to become a major hub of transportation and manufacturing. That's what this expansion is. This is not a field of dreams type approach. What we are looking at is bringing in a major hub, whether it be manufacturing or whether it be transportation, freight and cargo.
The question was, why do we need to expand the airport? That was the question from some of the right.
It would not be built with any taxes. It would be built with the existing debt structure that's already out there. It would not be done until such time as we bring in a hub, until we bring a manufacturer.
So you would have to have airlines on board.
Yes, the airlines on board.
Okay.
I think that JetBlue is a first step in the right direction. They brought in one flight, but I think we can do a lot more. We can recruit, for example, UPS. We can recruit FedEx. We can also recruit an international carrier, such as Air Canada, or for that matter, Air Mexico.
So they would need some tax incentives, right?
Not necessarily, no, not at all. Because what we're looking at is being very aggressive and having major turnaround, whether it be with passenger service, with cargo, or for that manufacturing parts, tied into our railroad system. Stop thinking small is what I'm trying to say. Identify what are the major industries. You know, all my life, whether I was in college or high school, even practicing law in the last 34 years, we always kept talking about Albuquerque being on the cusp of things, on the cusp of greatness. We could be a new Denver, we could be a new El Paso, or we could be a new San Antonio. What we need to be is a new Albuquerque, and we need to be thinking big, and we need to have more confidence in ourselves and invest ourselves. And this hub that I'm talking about, like I said, it's not a field of dreams. We're not going to build it and hope that they're going to come. What we're going to do is we're going to go out and we're going to recruit. And we're going to identify major industry that we can bring to Albuquerque. And to me, that would be a very first positive step. At least begins the dialogue.
Hold up for a second. Let me take a short break. We'll come back. I hate to interrupt you, but I have to. I hope you understand. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with Pete Giannelli, candidate for mayor.